What is happening, folks? Welcome to another episode 9 Nerd Yards. We are the nerds. What is up, Nerd Nation? One of the only places where a nerd can be a nerd. We are breaking down Dave season 2, episodes 5 and 8, Bar Mitzvah, and the Burds. With me, as always, I've got the nerds with me. Let's kick off and introduce the panel. You know him, you love him. He was with me last night. Producer T has just been around everywhere. Producer T, how you doing tonight, man?
Feeling pretty good, doing well. Don't forget, we're gonna do our contest again because we didn't get enough comments to figure out what we were talking about on the last Dave breakdown, which was, are there any black bromances, and what are they? What's your argument for it? And whoever gives us the best black bromance that you can think of will win a pack of.
Come on, Jar and Blacks.
Jar and Blacks. There he goes. Smoking Gills. Jar and Blacks.
Shout out to RF Finch. Hey, y'all, what is happening?
Go ahead and type away. What do you think is a good black bromance? And by the end of the show, we'll pick a winner.
Oh, right here. RF Finch is saying, Moonlight, bro, that's just a romance.
That's just a romance.
Let's try to get another one in there. And you know him, you love him. We just had dinner. It's Darren, aka Jeff. Jeff, what's happening, man?
Not too much. How's everybody doing out there?
We're doing great, man. We are missing. You don't see him here, but he's with us in spirit. 9, if you're out there watching, baby, we love you. He is out there taking care of business in Miami, Florida. So if you're out in Miami and you see 9, give him a slap upside the head and say, hey, 9, what's happening? But let's break down and go right into this episode talking about Dave. And we kind of don't have enough weeks. So we're like, why are you hopping around all over the place while you're breaking down this episode, that episode? So last week we broke down episode 2 and 3. This week we were breaking down episode 5 and 8. And next week we'll break down episode 9 and 10. Why these particular episodes? Let's give a quick intro real quick. We started with 2 because, well, it's more of a better starter, as 9 sort of argued for the point. Then episode 1. 3 is very relevant into the rest of the story. 4 is not so much. 5, though, is when it comes to the relevance of Dave and sort of the people around him. 6 is not so much. It's Dave dating. 7, I just threw a breakdown up of that episode, so everybody go check that out. Not right now, but once you're done watching this, full video essay about all the connections from that episode into Lil Dicky's real life. And that brings us to episode 8, The Burds. And that has a lot of relevance when it comes to how Dave's sort of story plot advances. So we're breaking down episode 5 and 8. Bar Mitzvah. Man, this episode's a lot of fun. And I think it's a lot of people's one of their favorite episodes of the season just because of Gata's comeuppance. And it's funny because last season, episode 5, Gata had a big come up in that episode as well. Let's just kick it off. Darren, top 3 moments from this episode, man.
All right. That's a bit harder with this one because there's some just such great moments.
Some solid ones.
It's such a funny episode, you know? So I'll try and keep it quick. So, I mean, I know it's probably a weird one to say, but that Benghazi, the Benghazi scene when they walk into the in the garage, just Dave and Els at the bar afterwards, and just how long they're just like
speechless.
So what?
What were they doing?
Just that over and over. So there's that. The second point, I almost guarantee I said last time we broke this down, but I swear to God, entire episode I was terrified Gata was going to die.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Right. Walking through those streets, especially that scene where he hops into that family's yard and like unplugs their Christmas lights. That scene where the camera's coming up at Gata the entire time. I thought we were just going to see a gun come into the scene and like, yo, what are you doing? You know, or something like shit like that. But then to jump off of that, I would say that it's my last point is actually also my favorite, and that is Gaeta, even though it's just from these kids, getting the recognition he deserves.
Right. Yeah. Sort of getting his flowers, as the kids call it. I like that. Producer Terry, top 3 moments.
I'm gonna go ahead and just take your name and say Darren. The whole making up of Darren, just how just T-ball, but he charges the mound. I know he's playing T-ball. Yeah, he still charges the mound though.
If you turn left, you're still in play. You got to turn right.
That's so funny. Then I would, definitely whatever the hell was just what he explained was just kind of funny. Just that whole little powwow telling them, like,
right,
right. It is like the best time to be a kid probably is now. They got all kinds of cool shit.
Right.
But yeah, not the best conversation to have 13 to have all these 13, 12-year-old kids.
I mean, they're men.
Technically.
And then I would say just watching fucking Els and Dave finally kind of like just air, because we've been seeing them like have these problems ever since Els got back from his trip. And it's just good to see them like have this cathartic release for those two of just that basketball game and then fighting and then finally like just kind of like squashing the beef that they had, because they were just like just fucking with each other until it got to be like too much. Like, because Els wanted like a producer thing, a title on like each track to be listed, but he was just kind of like just fucking with him just to see if he did it, knowing that no one fucking does that.
Mm-hmm.
So like they were just having a pissing contest and it was starting to get a little out of hand.
A little
100%.
bit of an ego check on each side of the other. Yeah, those are some good ones right there. All right, I got when Dave says, he yells out, "I am Queensbridge," or "I am Queens Boulevard." I am Queens Boulevard. I was like, bro, I'm a huge Entourage fan, and I feel like
Black people don't watch Entourage.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, some people forgot about it, right? But
isn't that from Broadway?
What?
Isn't that from Broadway? Corny Broadway?
What?
Gator's response. No, that sounds like it's corny.
We're literally finishing the rest of this and he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, we're talking about your favorite scene."
And I literally feel like Dave right now. Like, yeah, I feel like Dave right now. I'm like, what? No, not where that's from. But I was just thinking, like, I owe somebody an apology because I was talking with them about Dave this weekend, and they were like, "Remember that scene where Dave said I am Queens Boulevard?" And I'm like, that never happened. And then I'm rewatching it today, and like, literally he screams, "I am Queens Boulevard." Yeah.
Yeah.
I owe somebody an apology. I forget who it was. Also, when they have the picture, when they walk into the house for the first time, there's a picture of Dave in the suck me suit, like somebody suck me suit, as like in his little zoot suit. Like, if you notice, it's a nice little Easter egg. But I guess it's sort of to be like, oh, hey, this is who's performing. I don't know if I ever caught it, but like I saw it today and I was like, oh, that's nice. And then to your point, Jeff, I still get Atlanta vibes even to this day when I'm watching that whole Gator montage, bro. Like from like start of when we see him to his little adventure to like up until the time where he passes out in front of the car repo place,
the
like
tow yard,
the tow yard,
the whole time I'm just like, like I've seen some bad shit happen to Paperboy. I don't want to see this happen to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, 100%.
Black dude in the middle of LA just walking around by himself.
Just walking around
with a decent amount of cash too.
Right.
Now, Blake, I do need to tell you, you're wrong.
What?
That's not a picture of Dave. That's the bar mitzvah kid in the zoot suit.
It's the son. Oh,
that's because later on you see everyone signing it.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Good catch. Yeah. Still, I mean, I caught that corner of my eye, and I was just like, oh, I thought it was a picture of Dave. Look at that.
Right.
Even the experts get things wrong.
And it's actually kind of funny because it's like, all right, so like this kid, is he actually a fan of Dave? Would he actually have been a fan of Dave if it wasn't for somebody suck me? You know,
he went viral, right? Because they're all on TikTok and shit. Yeah, that's a great point. All right, let's take a look over here. R. Finch says, I mean, I would say Bad Boys for Life, maybe the best bromance, because so much of that movie focuses on their lives outside of being cops.
Oof.
Less about being cops and more about being Mike and Marcus. They range from boys to men. I was thinking Jamie Kennedy and Malibu's Most Wanted for.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think Jamie Kennedy and Malibu's Most Wanted is the best best black bromance.
Romance ever. Be rad, y'all.
I
Be
don't know. I
rad.
still want to classify Bad Boys as a buddy cop movie, but I still don't know if we could claim that buddy cop movies are a type of bromance.
And I will say this. Wow, that was a fun voice crack. Say if we are saying that buddy cop movies can and are also bromances, I would actually argue Bad Boys 2 more than Bad Boys for Life.
Right. Or I would even argue Ride Along. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah. That makes more
even
sense, actually.
though Ice Cube sort of is a little bit of tentative to, Kevin Hart's character, like Ride Along is, I feel like that's a bit more comedic and bromantic than Bad Boys.
Which then gets interesting because then you can also throw CIA into the mix with Kevin Hart and The Rock. Is that CIA or is it called something
The
else?
Rock black though.
The Rock's not black though, bro.
Rock's not black.
Like he's not really black, right? Like, he's black adjacent, right?
Yeah.
Like he's. Like, all right. I mean, do black people claim him? Like Terry, do black people claim The Rock? I want to know.
I don't think so.
Half black, half Samoan.
I thought he's half black, half. I really always give him to the Samoans. They ain't got.
Well, R. Fitch saying, dude, the Rock is half black. His father was Soul Man Rocky Johnson.
Also,
Yeah.
if what's his face?
It's like we took Tiger Woods from the Asians. They don't get to claim him because he's having. They don't get to claim Tiger Woods. We took him.
Right, yeah.
So I was just like, well, maybe the Pacific Islanders they could have the Rock.
Did they get to claim him? This is all I'm saying. When they did the racial trade,
draft,
the racial draft from Chappelle's show,
Tiger Woods.
did the Samoans, did they get The Rock, and then y'all got somebody else? Like, that's all I want to know. You know what I mean?
Do you guys remember back when people were like, no, I'm telling you, Vin Diesel's part black.
That was my next person to be like, where do we put Vin Diesel? Who got him? Vin Diesel, because I don't know where to put him either.
Evidently, Vin Diesel had an adopted black father. So I think we still put Vin Diesel at white.
Yes. Also, The Rock played Black Adam. That was in.
Yeah, that wasn't necessarily because of his ethnicity.
I thought that was just a suit. Yeah, I was.
Technically, Black Adam is Egyptian.
Yeah, so he is black. So but I don't think Hollywood was trying to like.
Okay, well, if that's the case, John Wayne played Genghis Khan. That doesn't mean he's Asian. So you know what? Like,
although evidently, like a quarter of the Earth is actually related to Genghis Khan. John Wayne might have just been playing his great granddad.
1 out of every 10 people can trace their roots back to Genghis Khan. So,
oh my God, are we family guys?
Baby, you know who's family with us? 9 from 9 Nerd Yards.
I'm not familiar with him.
Don't know who he is.
No.
Paris Jackson is black. Her father's part.
Her father was.
All right, well, let's hop right into this, man. This episode, Bar Mitzvah, bro. I want, okay, before we go on, but do interracial romances count? Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. They did a few of them together, but I think we want Dave's point in the last episode was straight black romances.
So they do not count because in the last episode they pull out Rush Hour.
Right, yeah, and Jackie Chan is obviously
black, while Chris Tucker's Asian.
Right.
Chris Tucker's Asian.
Then they did say Moonlight, but then they're like, no, Moonlight is a romance.
It's a romance.
It's a romance, yeah.
It's a straight up romance movie.
Right. So that's when we brought up Friday for us was our good answer and house party. So if you could top those answers, we're all ears. But yeah, go ahead, Jeff. Yes.
We need to clarify the original house party.
Right.
Not this new one.
New one.
Not the new one.
But
No.
basically, like House Party 1 and 2, and then they had a TV series. It was
I
an
always forget about
animated
the TV series.
Oh, well,
which I would say
Well,
counts.
Yeah.
okay. We're counting it.
Oh, I got one. Oh man, I kind of don't even want to say it. If somebody said it, I'd definitely make them the winner. And
Don't say it then.
Should we wait until the end of the episode if no one says
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, because it's a deep cut Atlanta reference too. It's a TV show.
Ooh. All right. Well, we wanted movies, but we'll take TV shows maybe. But yeah, this episode of Dave, we have it starting off with Gator. We hear Gator rapping for the first time, man. And I think it was nice to hear that song in the beginning and then to see that played out at the end. Namely because, like, I think we're so familiar with, like, I always feel like I always bring this. I brought up, bro, we were talking about Star Wars last night, and somehow I brought it back to Atlanta. I don't know how I do these things, but
it's called OCD. You're obsessed,
right?
There's no zero gravity scenes in Star Wars.
That's exactly it. But the fact of seeing Gator rap actually on the show so far at this point, when even on the show Atlanta, we hear Paperboy songs, but we never actually see Brian Tyree Henry as Paperboy actually rap, right? Outside of the 2 seconds that we get at that Spotify office where he's like, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
So I think having, like, I don't know if this is going to be a theme going into season 3, but like having Gator have some sort of like glorious moment, like some moment of glory in episode 5s, is that the thing that's going to keep going on? Like, then I'm all here for it. You know what I mean? But it seems to be a theme so far. Producer Terry, what you laughing at over there?
The last comment about the Black Mirror episode was like, no, we also
that also romance.
That one a romance. I was like, no, that one became a romance. It was just a little hidden for us. But that one was a romance.
But just an online romance. Didn't work. It didn't work in real life.
Yeah.
Oh man. I also love that this song that we got from Gator is the one that we do, as far as I understand it, still his only music video in real life.
Right. Yeah. And he released the music video shortly after this episode came out 2 years ago. Yep. It's a fun little music video. Like, it's not the best of all time, but it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good one, and it's a fun song. It's gonna sound like a dick move. I wouldn't say it's on Lil Dicky level, but it's still good. I'd still listen to it.
Right. Yeah. I fucks with it.
Yeah.
And it's so also too, within that scene, we get the buildup of what we see is sort of this underlining tension between, would it be Els versus Dave or Dave versus Els? Would it be both?
Ooh.
Because, like, we see Els has been like, hey man, like I gave you everything I got, you got all the beats. And then when he leaves, like, Gator's sort of like, yo, Els is doing his thing, yada yada. And Dave's like, well, he didn't even, I worked 10 times harder. The guy was just like at the right place at, and then sort of stops dead in his tracks. You know what I mean?
So personally, I would actually say, while Els is still there, there isn't necessarily tension between the two of them, or at least you don't see it.
Right.
But after Els leaves, 100% on Dave, which is interesting because later in the episode, I would say the tension's 100% on Els.
Right.
So they really do go back and forth a lot, which is good to see because, like, hey, they are childhood friends. That is how that would go,
Possibly, like, yeah.
If they're not mature enough to just shut up and talk about it, then yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how that.
In their relationship, they are not mature enough to shut up and talk about it. They have to go through this whole ass basketball ordeal, and then basically both need to get in trouble for something, and then find a mutual enemy.
Yeah. That's sort of, yeah. By the end of it, like, it's like, well,
Shit,
we have to
that's
put our
it. That's it. That next comment.
Yeah. 100% agree.
That's the answer. That's what I thought. I was like, if somebody could remember that,
I
that is
mean,
what I was thinking of.
You know, it's guy love. It's all it is.
Homeboys in Outer Space. I was like, yeah, that was a black bromance.
intergalactic bromance movie. Love it.
Planetary,
Also,
intergalactic.
shout out Turk and JD from Scrubs. Like, I absolutely love Scrubs. That was actually one of the first shows like I remember binge watching in my teens. So
Good.
Yeah, I remember downloading all the episodes and getting all the viruses from LimeWire. So not ashamed to admit it. But yeah, does that mean that he wins, Terry?
Yeah, that's the exact one I didn't want to give up. So because I was like, oh, and it's a good Atlanta deep cut. So it's like, oh, it's gonna put everything together if you can get this one.
Okay. RF Finch, you got it. Reach out to producer Terry at the end of this. Producer Terry, where you want him to reach out to you?
DMs, just send the address.
At
Insta?
Yeah, Insta, where at?
Instagram.
Yeah, but what's the Instagram, bro?
At terryfphotos.
terryfphotos. terryfphotos on Instagram.
Like, if you don't know my fucking Instagram by now, out of 300 fucking episodes, you don't need to reach me.
RF Finch, before Atlanta, I didn't think it existed either.
Right.
Also.
Damn white people.
Hello.
I want to talk about this scene that's next, though. And that I don't think we've broken down this before we came on 9 Nerd Yards. We've broken down this whole season when it first came out. But Dave is sitting with Emma and Allie, probably in one of the most underrated scenes. I'm watching it right now. And he talks about licking the privates of a hamster? Yeah. Licking a hamster's. Yeah. That was a hamster right now. I licked a hamster's pee. And everybody is very shocked with this. I'm very shocked. But like, it was because of a dare. Like, Dave, bro, what are we doing? I think there needs to be more attention to this scene right here.
If you're Allie, how are you not just like
right? I need a tongue scrubber right now. I've done things with this thing to you, and you've,
Does that make Allie Eskimo sisters with a hamster?
Technically. But yeah, it's a real like clever and disguised scene. But also, too, very important thing is Allie's on her phone. She's chuckling, and I think we all agreed the first time.
100%.
And I think we all agree now. Like, it's like, oh, Allie's on the prowl. Like, I think these are the starting points of like, she's decided she's moving on. You know what I mean? So I like those little tidbits like that, where it's sort of if you look away, you miss it. What do they call it? It's you don't catch it and you miss it. What's that moment called? It's on the tip of my tongue.
No. Missed moment?
What?
A missed moment? I don't know. A throwaway?
I was thinking, cutaway, throwaway?
Cutaway might be better.
There's a terminology which like something and you miss it. If you blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
That's the one. Blink and you miss it. It's a blink and you miss it moment right there. But yeah, we have this whole we have a sort of a plot A, which is Dave. And let me just see if I can play this real quick. I'm not as fancy as 9, yeah. But I think we can get away with this real quick. Add to stream. Wrong episode.
Paper couldn't be better. I'm actually a rapper. Even still, my life pales in comparison to the life.
Yeah, this part. This whole
No.
Not yet.
That scene right there. So we have this plot of this A plot, B plot type thing going on, where we have Dave getting hired to perform at a bar mitzvah, and then we have this B plot of him and Elle sort of having beef and essentially handling it between having a basketball game that had a lot of tension, a lot of emotion, and then it sort of coming to a head when they walk in on these kids doing God knows what, like
Benghazi.
I don't know, bro. We hope it's Benghazi. It'll look like maybe some R. Kelly type shit going on in that garage between them, bro. Like, I don't know, but it was something that they recorded on TikTok and that parents did not like.
Jakey, why would you put that on TikTok?
If you said our brains are small.
So I gotta say, I probably mentioned it last time too. I think that the basketball game, I think, brought the issues out in the open.
Right.
But I love that what really brought them back together wasn't necessarily the ridiculous. It was laughing over it.
Right.
And that was really when they like stopped, just being shitty towards each other. And I think that's a very like real thing with Dave and Els. Like they laugh together. They have fun like that. And if you think back to Talent Show, for Els, it's not even just like, hey, we laugh together. It's we laugh together, not we're laughing at Dave.
Well, yeah, I'm not laughing at you. I am laughing with you.
100%.
Mm-hmm. And we have, even Els too being shitty to the owner of the house, him sort of just like testing the limits of everything he can do. And in the midst of this, I bring it to this point because in the midst of having Dave perform at this bar mitzvah, which is it's entirely what this whole mission's about, we have, where do we get the name Darren from? We have Mike lying about having a kid named Darren, which is actually one of the funniest subplots in this entire episode. Just because of the lies start here, though, where he tells the guy, like, hey, like, the guy's blind. Like, yeah, my dad was shitty. He would moved all the furniture. And
we had a blind dog.
We had a blind dog. He would move the furniture in the way and fuck with him, But like, these are where the lies begins for Mike to try and like, is it wanting to be accepted? Is it wanting to try and be like more relatable? Like, I don't know what the motivation is, but like, he can't stop lying to this guy.
I think it's that Mike wants that level of success that this guy's got, especially after coming out of the financial world and then thinking that just signing up with Dave is going to give him a better step up. He's not going to have to deal with that shit.
Right.
I think for him, it's the success.
I like that. That's a good response, man. And then he comes up with this whole like, he's got a 6-year-old kid. His name is Darren. He plays T-ball, very aggressive. Got to break up fights all the time. He's got a wife that works. What's the company called?
Climist. That was the note I wrote down. Climist.
I was trying to think about it. I was like, wait, and we got to bring up the wife in that fake company she works for. What is it combats climate change and racism
at
the same time? Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm so far left. I'm about to come back around.
I'm gonna come back right now. You guys into BLM?
Of course.
That's one of the funniest like subplots I'd seen like from this season, from this show, is like him having this whole other life.
This lie is like, does he really want this life? Is this what he's thinking about? Like, is this where he thought he'd be?
Right. Is this where you're going to be when Jesus comes back? Yeah.
Well, you know what? He's wearing a yarmulke in this episode, so he might also be pretending to be Jewish.
Probably, yeah.
And it just goes back to show you, and I know we keep bringing it up all the time, Santino's such a good actor.
Right. I watched recently like a review, and I think it was from like Joe Budden's from like season 2 of him talking about how great Dave was, and he's like, dude, the acting in here, like, a lot of these guys haven't even been actors before, you know, prior to that, like there was not really anything of note from a lot. And like you see just like all these great performances.
Gata?
I think Gata, exactly. Gata, you know, Andrew Santino, Taylor Mishiak, Christine Coe, of course, Dave, right? Like all the main people, Taco, you kind of seen him in a bit of Loiter Squad, but like aside from that, like this is a lot of their like acting
Scripted things and
yeah.
like, you know, Lawyer Squad is just like the do fuck all whatever you want kind of show.
Benny Blanco?
Benny Blanco, right?
Right,
Like,
yeah, Benny Blanco. What the fuck? Benny.
Right?
who knew he could act? Yeah, what the hell's going on there? So like maybe if they had acted, like it was very little, this was like a kind of a good big break for all of them, and it's very much reminiscent, I think, of like what happened with a lot of the cast from, you know, aside from Donald Glover of Atlanta, right? Like you give a lot of these other people who maybe were doing this and that, but you give them a platform to sort of shine on. And speaking of shine on, I'm going to sort of correlate this with Gata's shine at the end of this episode.
Yes.
Bro. Yes. The come up is
P.S.
real, bro.
Finch, 100% worth watching this show. Even if you're not a fan, it's worth watching this show. It's so funny.
Because I am
Yeah.
not a fan of his rap. Not really. Like I like all the music that he's made for this show, but I never really listened to Lil Dicky. Like I knew who he was. I was like, oh yeah, he's the dick joke rapper. I don't really listen to parody rap. I'm not into it that much. And so I never
And then we were like,
Lil
Terry.
Dicky until we started watching Atlanta. And then these guys were like, we also break down Dave. If you like Atlanta,
You'll like Dave.
watch Dave too. And I was like, all right,
Yep.
I'll watch Dave. And then
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, seeing Gata sort of get his flowers at the end of it and sort of just like get some praise, man, after just a season and a half of nothing, and then to see him, and then a whole night where like essentially not a lot of sleep, and then he gets his car back, and then he gets here late, and then it's his time to shine. You know what I mean? So I love that. Also, guys, we're all here. How would we describe this? So is this white Atlanta? I'm going to go with a hard no. This is not white Atlanta at all. Is there comedy in it? Yeah. Does it have storyline? Yeah. Is it?
it has
does
a bit
have
of
a rapper?
realism to it, and it's about the music industry. That's really their only similarities. Is do you want to watch a show that has surrealism in the music industry that's somewhat based on the real world?
So,
Yeah.
That's where the similarities kind of stop, I feel.
Right.
Yeah,
That's about
yeah.
it.
Dave is definitely much more a comedy than Atlanta. Also, Atlanta's trying to give a view into a culture, whereas Dave's trying to give a view into this guy's life.
Dave, yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Whereas they make Atlanta a character in Atlanta. There's not a character of LA in Dave. It's not about the city. And it's not about the people in the city. And there's not like episodes where like you don't get some sort of main characters. You get all the main characters. The story is essentially an embellished retelling of Lil Dicky's life. Also, right here, I've also never seen Atlanta. Well, this is perfect because you'll have no bias going into either show. So, you know.
yeah.
Fantastic. But yeah, that about wraps it up with this episode. Any last notes on anything we did not touch on before we move to the Burds?
So the only one I got, it's not necessarily about the show, but Finch, I'm going to say this. So after like Sons of Anarchy, I was kind of like, FX isn't really doing much anymore, right? Dave in Atlanta proved me wrong. FX still has it.
Oh yeah, bro. There had to have been something that came out after that. No,
Mayans, but I never watched it.
You didn't watch Always Sunny? Isn't that a big show on FX?
Is that FX? I don't even think about it. I thought it was. I don't know. I don't even think of Always Sunny as FX. I think of them as like their own thing.
Yeah.
What's up, Kenya?
Also, You tell them, Kenya. Yeah, you have to watch them both. I think they're both great shows.
Can we bring up the photo of Kenya's prize pack? Kenya, do you mind if we share the photo?
FXX. That's it right there. I don't have the photo. Where's
It's in the group chat.
Come on, Blake. But let me rephrase what I was saying.
Absolutely not prepared for any of that. I'm not.
So,
9.
Sons of Anarchy, I was watching every episode week it came out until Atlanta and Dave. I wasn't excited every week. I was like, Always Sunny. I would binge the whole season, but these two shows were like, I was like, this was what I was looking forward to by next week.
Word. Yeah, I was too. Like, I remember too. Like, I really enjoyed that we had Dave, and then after Dave we had more Dave. There it is, Terry. Thank you, sir. And then after that we had Atlanta come back, and now that Atlanta's sort of over, then now we have Dave back again. So it's been a fun sort of
back and forth.
Yeah, as I'm trying to pull up this right here. Let's see. Present. That's why we need 9 back.
God, how dare you go enjoy his fucking
Kenya, so glad that you enjoyed all of the things that we sent you. Go ahead and add that right here. Boom. Kenya, look at that. Got candies, got the scarf.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah, Kenya. Thank you so much for sending that picture in. And everybody else, again, this is what happens when you win one of Terry's illustrious sweepstakes. You get real stuff.
You get real stuff. Real prizes. Real luxury. And some of it's illegal in America. Not illegal to possess.
Allegedly.
Illegal to buy.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Then yeah,
to possess it is cool. That's how, you're not buying this from us. That way you can own it.
Kenya, you rock. Thank you
thanks,
so much.
Kenya.
Yeah. But yeah, Terry, any final notes wrapping up this episode before we move into episode 8?
I just like how they do the ending part, and they're like, yeah, you know what? We were just both assholes. They do the typical bro thing of like apologizing but not apologizing and squashing their beef and moving it on. Still kind of toxic, but that's just how bros are sometimes. And I just love it where one just says, he's like,
What, Terry? Why did you mute?
Okay, I was like, am I the only one not hearing Terry?
Yeah, I was like, did I go deaf all of a sudden? Like, what happened? Terry got so excited.
There it is.
His microphone out. Terry, I thought you were high. I thought why you were so excited.
out.
Yeah.
I was excited for your excitement.
And then we all excited.
Where did it cut? Now I was like, where did it cut off at? Because I saw it do that. Where I was like, they were just, when Elle just says, I'm being the bigger asshole, and just releases all the fucking barnyard animals on him. And you're like, go, Pig Newton.
Pig Newton, yeah.
I love that, again, they get kicked out of another bar mitzvah. It's again, a nice little callback from the beginning of the episode. He said they got kicked out of tens of hundreds of bar mitzvahs.
Which, by the way, is just thousands.
Right. Don't tell Lil Dicky that. But yeah, I thought it was a nice callback to that. Also, right here, I don't even know about this. Have y'all watched Happy?
I have not. I know about it. I just never got into it. It looked good, but I don't know. Just wasn't my deal.
Now, well, I don't know what that is, but I may have to take a gander.
Stabler from Law and Order SVU is an ex-cop who's a little crazy to the point where, like, he sees an animated unicorn all the time, and then he solves crimes with it.
Oh, all right.
Happy.
Oh, now that I was like, what the fuck is happening? Now that you describe it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that. It was on Netflix, right?
No, FXX. Oh, it might have gone on. It might have gone. I'm sorry, it might have gone to Netflix after FXX, but
it
premiered on FXX.
But I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, that moves us on to Dave, episode 8, The Burds.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
Rating for 7.5. You guys want me to just say it?
Yeah.
For yes.
7.9.
Oh.
Which to me seems low. I feel like it should have been higher.
This season was there a lot of them when we go back to it, like there was a lot of low episodes.
Agreed.
Until we get closer to the end, then people are like, oh, this is picking up. But I do feel like this was of the 5 episodes that are in the first half of the season. This was probably one of my favorite ones.
I agree.
I think always seeing Gator sort of get his due is always a great thing to see.
Yeah.
All right.
Fourth lowest of the season.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's that. All right. Let's set up episode 8 real quick. Right here.
Wednesday.
I got it. Come on, Big D.
David, stop it.
Agile man.
Let me get out.
I can do it. Oh, yeah.
Don't cheer him on.
This nigga is
He's not making anything.
Nail swap.
Dave.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Also, a scene which they didn't include, which I think I would have loved.
Oh, it would have been so good.
Yeah. But let's start off with producer Terry. Top 3 moments from this episode right here.
Starting off, we just get Dave in this terrible fucking wig doing what is it? Garth Brooks, and what was Garth Brooks' alter ego name?
Oh. Shit. Hang on.
Chris Gaines.
Google it.
That's what it was.
Chris Gaines.
So he's doing like this fucking and like the wig's kind of the same. If y'all can pull up a picture.
Wait, do you think it was a wig or do you think he just straightened his hair?
I don't know. I guess because
I
he
thought it was
doesn't
a
have a
wig.
lot of hair, maybe he did straighten it for this. But yeah, it looks so fucking terrible. And that's
I thought it was
exactly
a
how
wig.
Chris Gaines had his shit styled.
Let me see.
He's playing that song, and it's like, okay, well, and it's like, oh my god, Dave can play the guitar. How cool is that? And then not playing the music, I was like, and of course, I would learn how to play the guitar. And I was like, oh god damn it.
Shouldn't be too hard, obviously.
There you go, Terry.
Chris motherfucking Gaines.
Can we bring up the first episode? Bring up the beginning of the episode. Then we can see.
No, I can't. I'm not 9, Terry. I keep telling you this.
So, speaking of the beginning of the episode, no, I'll let you finish. I'll go ahead.
Let me
Terry's
show
got
my
other points.
screen. Let me show my screen.
Present.
There it is.
The same air right there.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's terrible. But I was like, wow, you're just planning a whole nother thing. But bro,
All the
where's your
folk
first
songs.
fucking album, my guy.
All the folk songs with the little Beatles haircut. Yeah.
And then second scene, let's talk about this man,
Right
this
here.
dude is like reinventing all the ways there are to masturbate. Like he just had a whole masturbate, like he did it, and then it was like old school, like some of this analog shit where you got to print out the pages and had it stuck up.
Bro.
Wow, this dude.
And they weren't even naked.
Right.
Sometimes you just didn't have that, You gotta just put things in your spank bank with whatever you can see.
So afraid of his parents seeing it.
Bro, the absolute worst.
And then
Jeff.
like the final
Oh, go
3
ahead.
moment, it would
Yeah,
just
guys,
be
sorry.
just the Burds. His parents they have such good chemistry when they're acting together. You would honestly think that they were married in real life
yeah.
or some shit. How they just do.
Oh yeah.
Like
100%.
their back and forth is just so fucking natural. It's unbelievable. Like you kind of want to like. I wanted to mention this earlier about Chris Santino's character is that I wonder how much of their lines are improv versus scripted, because sometimes it just seems like they're just going
Freestyling off the cuff.
freestyling.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the Darren part of last episode, I was like, is he just continually to make up this lie? Is this scripted, or is he just ad-libbing right now? So it's like, I want to see how much of the parents' interaction, like, was that written, or are they just really just ad-libbing off each other right now?
Yeah. I feel like there has to be, like, there's got to be some stuff script. I mean, it's from the dude who helped out with Curb Your Enthusiasm, right? Like, there has to be some leeway to be like, all right, fill in the blank a little bit. You know, that's how Larry David does it, you know?
And I feel like, especially with Santino.
Right. Andrew Santino is just like,
yeah,
you know, comedian already. Like, let him just do what he does normally. Yeah, I love those points. Darren.
All right. Number one, what's your guys' favorite color? Is it tan?
Tan.
Yeah. Tan. No, that's not.
So that's one. Number two, I was fat and your dad liked fat girls.
Y'all were perfect for each other. No. And your uncle set us up because he likes fat girls.
It's so good. And then lastly, so excuse me, obviously Allie's song is a big part of this episode. But for me, and this goes back to the last episode we just broke down, watching Santino's face as he's watching Dave while listening to that song. Like, it's that side shot, and just see him like do a very compassionate, just kind of like look over at Dave. And then at one point he looks down and Dave's like, you know, fiddling with his hand and like picking at his own hand and stuff. And just the way that Mike sees Dave in that moment, I thought was fantastic. And as we keep saying, just an amazing bit of acting.
Yeah. Actual facts. Love it. All right. So I got a few things here. All right. So to Terry's point, and I'm going to connect it to mine, when he goes into the shower, right, and he prints out the pictures of girls, do you notice what he typed in to Google?
Yeah.
He typed in hottest girls of 2002, like a fucking teenager.
100%.
I fucking died. I died when I saw that. I was like, no. But that connects to my point. Once he's done in the shower, getting off, he sings to himself. Like, he just sings to himself. And I was just like, bro, this is the weirdest shit. Like, bro, what is Lil Dicky doing right now? Is that what he does? Sort of soothe himself? All right. My next one is a quote. Everybody will love this one. You look like a turtle without his shell, and I marvel at your grace. Dave to his dad. Oh my God. And then the next one is, personally, both of y'all can have an argument about this. Would you like to hear Me Too or Jankum? Which one?
I gotta go with Jankum because we did
no
hear
question.
Me Too. So
Right.
I definitely want to hear Jankum.
Also, Dave's going to have an interesting take on Jankum.
Right.
I definitely want to hear a rap about huffing fermented feces out of a bag.
Feces.
Feces.
Yes.
Oh,
But Me
man.
Too was kind of fire. Me Too.
Me Too was fire, bro.
You like to watch
But,
movies? Me too.
But yeah, those and then the Ally song. He's like, "Is Ally? Is this about Israel? Like, we probably should
Get it out right now."
But yeah, this episode had a lot of different stuff going on, right? We see the collapse of Lil Dicky's sort of part of his career, right? They kick him out of his house for sure, and then you see this sort of like him sort of, I think, I don't want to use the word like finding himself, but like him sort of reflecting. And it goes, I think we talked about this last time. It all goes back home, right? Like where his semblance of like comfort is, where his semblance of safety is. And it's with his parents now who are like, bro, they're all used to like not having him around. Like there's old people set in the old people ways, right? Like the moms just be yelling at the dad. She'd be come to dinner on time, right? Like all this shit. And then we have in the background this sort of plot of this love song that he has for Allie, the Allie song that we all know, and him showing it to her by the end of the episode. And I remember watching that with like sort of bated breath and just being like, oh God, like how is this going to go? And then I love that they bring it back to, I think we talked about this last time. The balloon had some significance, but I don't even remember what it was 2 years ago when we broke this down. So I absolutely have not remembered what the balloon means, but we bring it back to that point of the gift that Allie gave him, you know? So yeah, there was just a lot going on in like 30 minutes. Like this show, again, just like Atlanta, it doesn't waste any minutes. It doesn't waste any seconds. Like we get a lot of everything, all in a short duration of time, which I absolutely love.
There were 2 points in this episode that I actually thought were flashbacks. The first is the opening with Dave looking like that. I was like, oh God.
Right. I remember that.
Was he trying to like cringy, be like, you know, like, ooh, I'm so into my feelings, like back in the day?
Like, was this one like I thought he was like at the marketing place again?
yeah, exactly. and then the second one is when we see him with Allie, but right before he shows her the song, because it goes from Dave's parents being really adorable and Dave looking at them, and it just immediately cuts to him and Allie, and I was like, oh, this is probably Dave remembering being like, you know, with Allie. As the scene goes on, you realize it's not. And I thought both of those were interesting and well done cinematography choices.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like that they use a lot of that in this episode. Like there's a lot of just fantastic shots. Again, like, yeah, like the Allie one where Mike's listening, right? Like there's just a lot of good shots without anything being said. Even Gina Hecht, right? Like the mom, Lil Dicky's mom, even when she's in the bathroom and she's washing her face off with all the makeup, or when she falls and she's just sort of like, there's a lot of stuff that's non-verbally going on, but then it's so interwoven with like little bits of comedy, right? Like, what was it? There's a scene where the parents are arguing about, was it grapes or something? And, raisins, right? And like, you know, it's just like, again, old people. It reminds me of my grandparents, bro. Like old people being old people for no good reason, but like besides that they're old and like they can just like be mad at one another over 3 raisins. You know what I mean? So again, I really love that the show does that so well, and it really starts to pick up. I think in the last episode. 7, again, we got that breakdown. Everybody go check that out after this. But it starts to again pick up on not just like, oh, the story beat is,
God damn it.
But it starts to pick up on story beats, and it starts to pick up on the drama, and it starts to pick up on like, hey, like Dave's career has to be moved. It starts moving at a certain pace, which I think. If you're watching the show and making it through the season, you're like, is he just going to be an asshole the whole time? Is nobody going to call him out? And like, this is his parents, his mom, you know, particularly like calls him out for being a selfish little shit, bro.
Yes. And even when he's trying to argue with her, then we get Don calling him out. And I think it might be the first time we ever heard Don raise his voice.
Right.
And it was so perfectly done. We also see it a little later in the episode with Allie. He shows her the song and she's like, I'm just not ready for it to be out there. And he starts getting mad at her for it. And it's like,
right. And he's like, he's going to do it anyway. I was like, but weren't you trying to see what my approval was, like, and I don't like it. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're still gonna, then why did you ask me for my approval if you're gonna do whatever you wanted to do, all decided already?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the note I wrote down is, even when Dave's getting better, he's still so selfish.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, I mean, it doesn't happen overnight, right? But he doesn't. I think still for him, like, there's still the feeling of wanting to succeed far exceeds his sort of comprehension for like taking care of people around him. Like, that almost becomes like that falls by the wayside, and it's like, well, whatever costs, like, I'm still going to put out, like, I don't have a whole bunch of music, so I'm still going to put out the music that I have, even if you like it or don't like it. And I hope you like it because I like it, so you better like it, type thing.
We do the worst to become first.
Ooh. Can we
Okay.
put that on a shirt? Dang.
I don't
Darren's
think
got
that should be
bars.
maybe is that our motto?
Teeny
our
tiny
mission
part of a
that's our
spoiler there.
mission statement. Remember, I said we needed a mission statement, guys.
Oh,
We do the worst to be first. That means we're coming at you. And you know what I realized the other week? I just made another the Indian enemy because I called,
Bro,
I said Cal Penn.
story time with Terry.
No, just on the 2 episodes ago on the show, I said, my enemy, Kamanu Nanjani, he's in he's in that bromance movie, White Castle.
Oh,
That's Cal Penn. That's not Kamanu Nanjani. I was like, oh, fuck. Now I'm pissed off another one.
that's Kel Penn and John Cho.
Bro, yeah, man.
I realized I made that mistake the other day. I was like, oh, god damn it, not another one's gonna be mad. Like, fuck.
just slowly pissing off every Indian you can find.
Every
All of them. Kamal, M. Night, and Cal Penn. They bro, the list keeps
All three
growing.
now. Fuck.
The list. Also, I thought you were talking about Stuber. Like, that is a sort of a bromance buddy movie, right?
That's with him and Batista, right?
Right. Yeah, it's not a black romance movie, but it's a bromance movie.
But
I
I had mentioned
I
White
felt it.
Castle.
Dave Batista is Greek and Filipino.
Right here. Oh, all
I
right.
haven't seen that movie yet, man. I couldn't see it. But I don't have 3 hours. I hear it's so good, but 3 fucking hours? Oh, man. I don't know
No.
about that. Have y'all seen it?
No,
Nah.
what? I don't even know what that is.
It's an Indian movie.
Really? Man, R was kind of blowing up. It's on Netflix, I think, right now.
Definitely haven't seen it. Nope. I like Indian people. You know what I mean? Not like Terry.
Yes, it is currently on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
A tale of 2 legendary revolutionaries and their journey far away from home. After the journey, they return home to start fighting back against British colonists in the 1920s.
I would, yeah. That kind of sounds like
R&R's
a romance movie to me.
It's a bromance, sort of.
So is that the first Indian bromance?
No, I mean, if we go dig deep into other Bollywood movies, I'm sure there's a lot of them.
I'm sure
Has
there's
to be,
one
right?
out there. Mm-hmm.
Well, are tigers
Don't say-
Indian? Because then you kind of got Life of Pi.
Life of Pi, bro. That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
You didn't know where that tiger's from.
I thought you were gonna say Slumdog Millionaire. I'm like, bro, we're going there. That's what we're doing.
I thought
That's
That's
much
what
about
I'm
a bromance.
millionaire.
That's a tragedy. Actually, it's a sad movie, but I mean, it has a happy ending.
You got to pull up that last quote.
I mean,
Oh my
did
god!
that, didn't they? I mean,
Wow.
Was it how evil the Indians made the British, or how evil the Indians were? Or I'm sorry, how evil the British were to the Indians?
right? Yeah, because I was like,
A little bit.
That's
of
like
both.
saying
one
like
of
the
those
Native
things wouldn't
Americans,
exist without the other, you know?
right? That's like saying the Native Americans make a movie that like makes the colonizer seem evil. It's like, I don't think it's that they seemed evil.
I think they kind of were.
Yeah, they kind of were fucked. Yeah, that's all it was. Oh my god!
Oh,
All right,
God.
I'm on the. I turned and looked at my TV at the wrong time, my other screen at the wrong time, and I have Dave putting up all the pictures in his shower, and him saying, "Don't run, don't run," while all the ink is running off of the.
The funniest part about that scene to me is, I don't know about you guys, but at first he's not just like, you see him, he's like, ooh, and it's like, is he dancing in the shower? I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And then you realize it's to stick the pictures to
Right,
the
he's trying to get
he's splashing the water.
Yes, yeah, and I was like, bro, this is the weirdest ritual ever. Like, what is he doing?
It's a very like good 2002 like VR porn moment right there. But like I just said, Dave was just every generation that Dave was existing, he was like at the top of the masturbation game. Like throughout the decades, he was number one at masturbating.
And what's ridiculous?
And I hate my Facebook now. It keeps giving me ads for the auto blow. I saw a different one today.
No, it doesn't.
And now I keep getting ads for these things, bro. I saw the one, shared it to you guys. And was like, hey, look, they really made an auto blow. And now they just keep popping up on my Facebook.
Oh, my God.
Like,
it knows what you want, Terry.
Oh, God. Yeah, for some reason, that's happened to me, too.
That's strange. That's weird. Somebody sent producer Terry the auto blow.
So and by the way, so while we're talking about this, I just realized the funniest part about Dave with like the splash in the water. You can take the shower head off. It's one of
the
those
head
ones,
and
right?
spray it right there. Yeah.
So he's done this so much, he realizes if he just does that, it's going to run immediately. He's got to do little sprinkles of water everywhere.
Right. And I was just going to say, he's done this so much because his mom is like, she's like, don't be late for dinner. And he's like, no, I'll be there. She's like, you say that, but you're always late after you take a shower. And it's like, bro, this has happened. Like this whole ritual has happened so many times. Like definitely more than once.
Well,
maybe
it's
twice.
brought up in the beginning of the show, of the episode.
Oh, he used to take the longest showers?
And Mike's like, yeah, I'm sure.
He's like, I lived with them. I've seen what he does. Yeah, man. But yeah, again, this is littered with little tidbits like that. Again, sort of the family dynamic, and I think the two things, right? The family dynamic, him and his family, and then the one that sort of comes out of left field and is in the last like few minutes of the episode is him and Allie, and it was a very heartfelt sort of moment, and the way that it ended too, with him just leaving.
And right before the credits, he attempts to blow up the balloon, which he was like, "Oh, I can't do it." And she's like, "You can do it."
I feel like if we look in our old comments, somebody broke down what it meant, and it was like a very good meaning of like him like trying or like doing. It was something where it was like very deep meaning. And it was something like that, and I enjoyed it. Right here, Arafish, he's got the right idea. This is what Lil Dicky's been doing. Just wax on and then, a little bit wax off,
Do you guys think that in his childhood home, his parents had to pay for a lot of plumbing because of all the just random pieces of computer paper in the pipes?
Oh, bro.
I mean, toilet paper and computer paper are very different consistencies, guys.
Bro, and the fact that he's like he's shimmying it back and forth on the little gutter, like he has done this so many times.
He's using the shower drain as a cheese grater, man.
Right. To make sure the pictures get disintegrated. This is a pro. This is a professional. He is reinventing masturbation, as he says in episode 2. The PJ. I like this reference. The PJs would be upset. That's a good reference right there.
Well done.
Shout out if you remember that episode, that whole series right there. Shout out Eddie Murphy.
Right.
Yeah, that's throwback.
More good claymation, man.
They don't look like they used to.
What is it? I recently went through it again because it was on something. One of them like Crackle or like maybe it might have been on Peacock. They put the PJs on Peacock or something.
I could tell you
one of those free little network things that I was trying out. And I was like, oh shit, they got the PJs on here. That's a different one.
I hadn't seen PJ since it came on Fox back in the day, bro.
Plex.
That was
Plex.
Plex.
Yeah, and it's on Plex. Yeah.
Why'd you get scared? When you Terry said Plex?
Because I was like, remember, I was like, oh yeah, that's the program.
Yeah, Finch, Plex, and Tubi. Those were the two.
Nah, yeah, that's it. Love it. Tubi actually has great variety. I probably feel like I need to.
I feel like I watched
Dabble in
one
that.
thing on Tubi once, and it was like there are way too many fucking commercials. Like not the normal amount, you know.
I don't get like again. So I'll say this for you. I don't get why they charge for like Peacock. I use your Peacock all the time. I don't get if you ever see like a movie, like I watched Double Dragon last night. So if you see that over there, and like I watched the producer Terry after our talk.
It
is so garbage. It's so garbage.
It's so bad. I love it so much.
Yeah, I love Mark Dacascos, but I was like for that, and I watched John Wick, and I'm like, for the amount that Jeff pays, there should be no commercials over here. And like he spends hard-earned money for no commercials. What are y'all doing to this man?
I spend earned money. I'm absolutely fine with commercials during TV shows. I do think it's bullshit. It's during movies though.
During movies, I was watching John Wick. I'm like, I don't want to watch it. Like, this is stupid. What are we doing?
Agreed. And it'd also be different if it was like with TBS, where like the commercials were like normal. Like when like in the old school days when you're watching cable and it's like, all right, it fades into a commercial at a normal point. But like on this, it's like it just randomly cuts in the middle of a sentence. It's like, what?
Right. I was like, bro, y'all didn't even time these out right. Y'all just picked random times.
Agreed.
It's like in the middle of a motorcycle chase. Like, bro, let me watch John Wick murk some dudes. Like, leave me alone. So I don't know, man. But anyways, back to Dave. Any final notes that we have, Darren, about this episode of anything we didn't really touch on?
Not a note, but a question. Do you guys think company chickens just fucking shake and bake?
No.
Because Dave was able to make it, so it's not fancy.
I don't think it's shake and well. I think it's maybe a take on shake and bake.
Okay.
I think you got to do a little Jewish razzle dazzle on them. You know what I mean? Yeah, a little something, put a little, matzah on it or something like that. You know what I mean?
You mean like cheese?
Like the it's a cracker.
Unleavened bread.
Unleavened bread, yeah, that's what it is. Producer T, any questions, final notes as we sort of round out this episode?
No, we do. I mean, it is finally good to see Dave get put in his place by his parents. Finally,
bro. I think you watched this season the first time and you're like, yes, thank you somebody for telling him something.
Checking him because man, he acts so immature a lot and just doesn't pay attention to what's actually going around him. He only pays attention to himself. So it's like about time his parents called him on his like bullshit.
I mean, one of the most evident scenes is when they're in the car and he's trying to sing Brian McKnight Back at One to get his parents to basically like not fight. And it's just like, but this is all like, and his mom, it's like all for his experience. Like there's fights that happen. There's things that happen. Like it can't all be about like, I want to feel happy. So like y'all be happy, or like, I want to feel this way. So like, I want to do this thing. And it's like, you're not even doing it for these other people. Like, if he really was selfless, he would have let his mom just rest, or he would have gotten her some flowers or something. Didn't have to be like, hey mom, get up out of bed. Like I got this whole thing for you. That was all for him. Like his mom called him out, man. So yeah, like I think like we all waited for it and I remember us talking about it's like we all waited for this point to happen. And when it happened, I think we were all like cheering and like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like finally somebody puts him in place. About fucking time. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Anything else, Producer T?
No, that's about it.
That's about it. Well, that's been Dave, episode 5 and 8, the Burds and Bar Mitzvah. Yeah, you guys, if you guys have any other questions or quotes or comments, go ahead and feel free to leave them in the comments, whether you're watching this now or later on. Let's start to wrap this up and let's get on out of here. Darren, where can people find you they want to reach out to you for all things going on in the nation of nerd.
Well, you can always Skype me at Down Cheadle's Driveway at LilDicky2.com. It's because of the hackers. You can try and find me on Facebook, Jeff Madel, or Instagram, Madel Jeff. Or if you're in Austin, you can just try and find me in Austin. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, before we bring Terry on, Kenya says, I had Double Dragon on Nintendo, bro. Old school right there. And also, the Double Dragon movie is hotter garbage than Mario Bros. It is hotter garbage than the Mario Bros. We were just talking about this last night.
But I enjoy it more.
Oh,
It's a personal choice, guys.
Oh, okay. All right. R.F. Finch, you want the story behind Don Cheadle's Driveway? Wait, don't. You should watch Lil Dicky season 1, episode 2.
Gotta watch
You'll get
Dave.
the gotta watch Dave. Or just watch it. He's gonna go back and watch an old episode of like of one of our Dave breakdowns and be like, oh, that's where it's from. All right.
Thank you, Finch.
Oh, this right here.
Mm-hmm. I'm well aware I made the wrong choice, but I'm sticking by
it. Love it. Producer T, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you for all things going on in the nation of nerd?
Always on the Instagram, terryfphotos, where you can see where I'm traveling to next. Might be a place near you. Probably not.
Probably not.
And of course, follow me on Pendependent CO, where you can still order the 9 Nerd Yard pins for Atlanta. Plus, if you have your own pin design, the studio once again is open to custom orders. I'm working on like 2 different custom orders right now, but go ahead and give me more work.
For sure. And if you want to find me, you can find me here on 9 Nerd Yards. Follow me, Money Blake, whether Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. You can follow my other podcast, Unfiltered Bachelor, anywhere podcasts are, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere podcasts are. That's where the show is. And then this week, I mean, we just dropped 9, just absolutely crushed it. Tuesday evening and dropped was it Tuesday because yesterday was Wednesday. All right, losing track of my days. Dropped Swarm. So if you guys have watched Swarm, go watch that breakdown. It's the best 20 minutes, the best review that's out there, hands down. Like you could watch people talk, you could go watch people talk about the show, but if you want to like get to the the meat and potatoes of everything and get to the real like core of everything and get some of the awesome trivia about the show and Easter eggs that you might have missed, go watch 9's breakdown about Swarm. Also, I just dropped the Dave breakdown for season 2, episode 7, Ad Man. A lot of great Easter eggs about the real life versus the show. So go ahead and check that out. Also, we did Mando last night, so go ahead and check out that breakdown if you're watching Mando. We'll be back next Wednesday to do another Mando episode, and we'll be back next Thursday for episode 9 and 10 of season 2 of Day before season 3 gets started on April 5th. Thank you, everybody who's been tuning in. R.F. Fitch, Kenya, who Film Age, 9 was out here early. We love you, 9. We hope to see you back soon. Everybody, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. We do appreciate you. Hit like, hit subscribe, and until the next time, we will see you. Peace.